Hi everyone, good morning. Good morning and happy Friday. So how are you this morning? As usual, I wait a couple of minutes for you to jump up in this live lesson. That for the joy of many of you, it is back on Friday morning at 8:30. I'm very pleased to know that many of you have the chance to follow this live lesson, even if it is very early in the morning, or it is usually the time people start working. But I see that some people started joining. Good morning, everyone. Good morning. Can you please, as usual, give me a feedback about the audio and the video of this live so that I'm sure that you can follow me properly. Hi, Antonio. Welcome. So, guys, what about you? What about your plans of this weekend? This weekend is in the middle of two bank holidays, the April the 25th and May the 1st. Do you have any special plans for this weekend? Hi, Ettore. Hi, Antonio. Thank you. Hi, Cristiana. Good morning. Good morning and welcome, everybody. Good morning, Laura. So I was saying this weekend is in the middle of two bank holidays, the April the 25th and May the 1st, so maybe some of you have special plans. This morning I was surprised because I thought that spring has already come, or better, had already come, but temperatures are really decreasing here in northern Lombardy. In fact, it was pretty cold this morning and cloudy, so temperatures are really dropping, and we will see how the weather will turn in the next few days. Okay, so let me check your comments. Good morning, Fabian, welcome. Tiziana, Simon, Barbara, good morning, everyone. Antonio wrote, I will go to Marina di Cecina. Oh, fantastic, great. Sounds interesting. Very good. Perfect. As far as my plans are concerned, on Sunday in the afternoon, I will go to a spa in a hotel in Como, because for Christmas, a friend of mine gave as a gift a coupon that gives me the access to a spa. So I will benefit from a massage and the access to the spa of this wonderful hotel. So I will relax a little bit this Sunday afternoon. Hi Nadia, welcome. Hi Nini. Hi, Carla. Okay, guys, very good. So I'm very pleased to see that a lot of people already joined this live lesson. And so I would like to start immediately the lesson of today that, as you know, and as you can see from the whiteboard here, the topic of today is the Saxon genitive, what in Italian is called Genitivo Sassone. So I would like to spend this very short and brief live lesson about this topic because Antonella, that is a student of this fantastic group, asked me the possibility to go a little bit deeper on this topic because she wanted to clarify some doubts that she had about this specific issue. And I thought that it could be a good opportunity also for the rest of you to revise this specific topic. Hi Daniele, good morning. Hi Laura. Okay, so I suppose that the majority of you remember from your studies in the previous schools, more or less the high school studies, what the Saxon genitive is. The Saxon genitive, that in Italian we call Genitivo Sassone, is the structure that is represented by this specific sign that is apostrophe S. And it is a way that is used in English in order to express a relationship of belonging. Relationship of belonging, una relazione di appartenenza, relationship of belonging that can regard different types of subjects. And so today we will see how we have to handle the Saxon genitive according to the specific subjects that are involved in this relationship of belonging. And we will also see how much the Saxon genitive is used, because I think that it could be useful to spend a couple of words about how much this specific structure is used in our everyday English. Okay, so let's start. So as I told you before, the Saxon genitive expresses a relationship of belonging that regards, first of all, it regards people. And when I talk about people, I talk about common nouns and proper nouns. So common nouns, nomi comuni, and proper nouns, nomi propri. So the Saxon genitive could be used both with common and proper nouns. In fact, here, as you can see, I reported some examples just to show you how the Saxon genitive can be used with proper and common nouns. For example, I wrote Marta's house. That means la casa di Marta. So how does it work, this Saxon genitive? We take what in Italian is called the genitive case or complement of specification, il complemento di specificazione. Just to make a parenthesis, the complement of specification, also known as genitive case, is the complement replying to the question of whom or of which, di chi, di che cosa. So when a complement replies to this specific question of whom or of which, di chi, di che cosa, this specific part of the structure is known in grammar terms as genitive case or complement of specification. The Saxon genitive is an alternative of the representation of this specific complement. In fact, if I want to say in Italian la casa di Marta, la casa di chi, di Marta, complemento di specificazione, in English we have two different alternatives. We can say the house of Marta, it is very easy and very close to Italian language, or Marta's house. So we put in front of the noun the possessor of the owner of that specific object, putting apostrophe S to the name, in this case, the proper name of the owner. But as I told you before, the Saxon genitive can be used also with common nouns. For example, il libro di mia sorella. That in English, as I told you before, has two different translations. The book of my sister or my sister's, apostrophe S, book. So this is another case of Saxon genitive with common nouns. Another case could be la festa del papà, or la festa della mamma, as it is coming up in the next few days. La festa del papà will be the day of the father or father's, apostrophe S, day, Father's Day. So we take the complement of specification that usually we put here after the preposition of, and we take the complement of specification, we get rid of the preposition of, and we put it here, putting between the owner and the object belonged an apostrophe S. So is it clear so far? Please give me a feedback in the middle of my explanation so that I'm sure that everything is okay. So we said that the Saxon genitive can be used with people regarding a relationship that sees as a protagonist people, both common and proper nouns. But the Saxon genitive can also be used with animals. In fact, here I wrote the eagle's nest. Do you know what a nest is? Let's see, let's check a little bit your vocabulary. What about the nest? What is nest in Italian language? Okay. Tiziana wrote the video is not focused. Oh, I'm sorry, because here I see a proper video here. I suppose that maybe it depends on the connection, Tiziana. So please keep me updated about this this technical aspect. I see if I can do something, even if I'm not sure to be able to do. Okay, Nadia wrote that nest is nido. Very good, fantastic. So in this case, I wrote the eagle's nest, il nido dell'aquila. So in English, as I told you before, we have two different translations. The nest of the eagle, or the eagle's, apostrophe S, nest, il nido dell'aquila. Or, just to make another example regarding animals, l'osso del cane, the dog's apostrophe S bone, or the bone of the dog. So the dog's bone or the bone of the dog. Something very important. Remember that between the owner and the apostrophe S and the belonged object, we can never put an article. So here we can never say the dog's the bone. So remember that in here, no articles are admitted, no articles are allowed. As you think, it is the same when we talk about the possessive adjectives. We know that before possessive adjectives, we can never put the article. So the logic is really the same. So the dog's bone or the bone of the dog. The Saxon genitive can be used also to express expressions of time. So when we talk about the time, in fact, for example, to say il giornale di oggi, we can say the newspaper of today or today's apostrophe S newspaper, today's newspaper, or the newspaper of today. So very easy. Another example, la consegna di ieri, the delivery of yesterday, if we want to use the genitive case or complement of specification, or yesterday's apostrophe S delivery, yesterday's delivery. The final case that I want to take into consideration with you is the use of the Saxon genitive with countries and cities. In fact, we can use this structure also when we talk about something related to a specific country or city. In this example, I wrote I parchi di New York. So we have two different translations, the parks of New York or New York's apostrophe S parks, New York's parks. Le scogliere dell'Australia, we will have the cliffs of Australia or Australia's apostrophe S cliffs. So, just to sum up what we have learned so far, the genitive case or Saxon genitive in English can be expressed in two different ways. One is very close and similar to the Italian language structure, and it is this one. So we put the preposition of, and then what we call complement of specification or Saxon or genitive case, sorry. The other alternative is to use the Saxon genitive putting an apostrophe S up to the owner of a specific object, and this owner could be a person, an animal, an expression of time, a country, or a city. Other two pieces of information. Here, in this case, I wanted to stress your attention on this specific structure that can be used, and it's very common in the English language. When, for example, we have to say c'è una festa a casa di Marta. We already saw before that to say a casa di Marta, we have two different options. At the house of Marta or at Marta's house. It is very common in the English language also to say this kind of version. There is a party at Marta's house or there is a party at Marta's. And finishing this sentence like this, so there is a party at Marta's, because it is, let's say, already meant, sottinteso, that here we're talking about the house where Marta lives. So we do not have to put the word house. So it is a very common expression. We are all together at John's. Siamo tutti da John. We are all together at John's. giving for granted that we want to say at John's house. Is it clear, this specific kind of structure? Because it is very far from the Italian language. Okay, so in the meantime, I have a look at your comments. Alessio wrote, good morning. My first lesson, so good morning, Alessio. Welcome to your first live lesson. I hope that you are enjoying it. I remember, I take just the occasion to remind all the people belonging to this group that in case that you do not have the chance to follow the live lesson, you don't have to worry, because all the live lessons are available in the replay mode inside the group. So you will have the chance to look for them in the video section of this group. So don't worry if in the future you don't have the chance to follow the lesson live. Okay, thank you so much. Thank you, Nadia. Thank you, Fabio, and thank you, Leah, for your feedback. Okay, another piece of information. What do we have to do in case that our possessor is a name or a noun, a common noun, a proper noun, that already ends up with an S? So, for example, if the possessor is a common noun in the plural form, as we know, in order to create the plural form for the majority nouns of the English language, we have to put an S. So what does it happen in case that the noun already ends up with a S? It's very, very easy. For example, in this case, I wanted to say I libri degli studenti, so in the plural form. As usual, we have two different ways. The books of the students or the students' books. But considering the fact that students in the plural form already finishes with the S, we just put an apostrophe. So we do not put again apostrophe S, because otherwise we will have two S, but we put just the apostrophe. In this case, the Saxon genitive works also with words ending with the letter S. So the students, just apostrophe, books. So this is how we have to deal with words already ending up with the letter S, because in the majority of the cases are in the plural form. But this also regards words that are not in the plural form, but in any case end up with the S. Another focus that I want you to bring your attention on is this part. So the Saxon genitive is also used when we talk about, in a very common sense, businesses. When I talk about businesses, I talk about shops or activities or professional activities in general. Attività commerciali, attività di consulenza, and whatever. So, for example, if we want to say vado dal panettiere, in English we have two different alternatives. We can say, or maybe three alternatives. We can say, I go to the bakery that indicates the building where the baker works, the bakery, or I say, I go to the baker's shop, so the shop of the baker, so baker apostrophe S shop. But it is also very common to say, I go to the baker's, and I do not repeat, I do not put the word shop. It is very similar to this case where we omitted the word house. So also in this case, we can omit the name of the building, and we stress our attention just on the name of the possessor of that specific building. So if I say I go to the baker's, it is an alternative of I go to the baker's shop or I go to the bakery, and it is fine even if we do not put the word shop. We give it for granted, la diamo per scontata, we give it for granted. Very similar, also related let's say the issue relating let's say professional activities. For example, dentist. To say vado all'ambulatorio, vado allo studio all'ambulatorio del dentista, I have different alternatives. I can say I go to the dentist _s surgery, che è l'ambulatorio, surgery, or very easy, I go to the dentist _s, and we give it for granted that we intend to say surgery, but we can omit this part, working in a very similar way as in this case. So we can say that this rule applies for buildings. So we omit the name of the building and we stress our attention just on the owner of the building, putting an _s on the owner in this case. Okay, so this is everything that I wanted you to know about how the Saxon genitive works. Now I would like to spend a couple of words about how much the Saxon genitive is used in the common language. Let's say that apart from the cases in which we talk about people, in these other cases, the Saxon genitive sometimes could be omitted. So, for example, when I talk and when I write in the English language, sometimes I do not use the Saxon genitive because time after time, the language, as you know, the language is a vital component of the culture of a country. The language has changed, and so some rules, let's say, have been put aside, sono state un po' messe da parte. And so, while in the British English, these rules are still a concrete and constant presence of the language itself, in the American English, sometimes the Saxon genitive is not used. This doesn't mean that if you do not use the Saxon genitive is a mistake, because, as I told you before, sometimes the use of the Saxon genitive has been put aside. So, for example, to say il giornale di oggi, I can very easily say today newspaper without putting the _s. The same as yesterday delivery, because we tend to consider this expression of time as well as countries and cities and animals in some cases, not the real possessor of a thing, but just a genitive case, a complement of specification, and so we do not put the _s. So if you want to be, let's say, to be to be in line with the rules forecasted by the British English, you have to apply what we have learned this morning so far.
Se ti è piaciuto l'estratto di questa lezione, iscriviti al canale, attiva le notifiche, ma soprattutto, per saperne di più, clicca sul link in descrizione. Ci vediamo dall'altra parte!